Hey, welcome back to the Ingram Warrior YouTube channel right here on our big Monday. As always, it's a pleasure to get here and talk to you guys, and also with here Coach Tate Damasco. And Coach, big win, Open District, first time in a while winning a district game, and man, it was a packed house, and there were just people rocking the stadium like that Friday night.
Yeah, it was a great environment, and I thought our kids handled the situation pretty well. And we can't thank our community enough for coming out and supporting us. It was loud when we needed them to be loud. They were loud. They cheered. They did everything we asked them to do, and hopefully they felt like we did what we needed to do to kind of show what we're capable of. And so it was a great night.
Defensively, you guys slowed a powerful, determined, and speed. Cole has always been known for their speed and the velocity of how to throw the ball and run the ball. Coach Kesey had a game plan and, thought there in that first quarter right there when they ran the kickoff was going to make a run, but y'all's defense just really shut them down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last 4 weeks we played outstanding defense, and we hope that trend continues. And it's like I've told you, my name's at the top, but I let those defensive guys coach, and I'll see something here or there, and I'll ask a question. But those four guys on that side, Steve Marbach, Adam Brackeen, Roy Laura, and Brent Beadle have done a tremendous job. And they put us in situations the last several weeks where we had a chance to be successful, and they've given us short fields offensively. So you can't complain about that. But I thought our kids, the thing that's really pleased me this year is our kids have handled some adverse situations. If you go back in several of the games we've had here, even the ones, the blowouts, I mean, there was times where last year it would have been like, here we go again, and it's like, okay, y'all want to counterpunch? Let's show you what we got. And so been really pleased with the way the kids have handled that.
Y'all went up 12-0, and right away, 83-yard kickoff return, put some spark right there back into Cole. Y'all march it right back down and punch it in. I mean, talk about just like you're saying, you're talking about that overcome of, all right, you punch us, we're going to punch you right back.
Right, and I think our kids have confidence. Our kids have confidence in both schemes, offensively and defensively. And the great thing about a play caller is when I'm calling stuff, they're executing because they believe in the system and they trust that it's going to work. And we took some shots down the field that worked out. And so. The kids they believe in what we're doing, and they believe in each other, and they have each other's back. And so whenever we get a little counter punch, we've responded well so far, and so hopefully that trend continues.
Your special teams really stepped up. I mean, after that 83-yard run, you kind of just started kind of letting them fair catch it, whatever that Glacier kid, I think he got it every single time, for Cole. But then when it came to punt situations and had Kai Hightower back there and just taking something that was going to be nothing, shedding off tackles, and then running it to get about 20 more yards.
Yeah, and obviously we view punt return as an offensive play. At this level, you're constricted on your time, so we do spend a lot of time on special teams, and sometimes other teams don't. And so we think that's one of the places we can take an advantage of is setting up return, setting up blocks, whether it's kickoff or punt return, and give us great field position. And so we've had a chance to flip the field several times this year off the punt return.
Your offense just took over, especially in that second half. I mean, up 18-7 and then just ran the table in the third quarter, kind of mainly just putting it away. Your offensive line opening up holes for Boites and for Sage, and also especially Kai. Not only that, bouncing off where it looked like he's going to be lost, and then next thing you know, he's bouncing around for 40 yards or better. I mean, that offensive line is just like top-notch right now.
Right, and they're showing signs of improvement. Obviously, we're really happy where they're at, but there's still growth there to be had, and so we're waiting to play a clean game to see what we look like. But, yeah, I mean, they've done a tremendous job, and I can't say enough, some of those plays you're looking at where Kai bounces out, he does a great job keeping his shoulders square and being able to find a cut so he can go anywhere he wants instead of, turning shoulders to the sidelines. And you have to give credit because on a lot of those, we're up on the backers and they can't get it fit, and all of a sudden he's popping out the backside and he's down the sidelines. And so he's a special back. but he couldn't do it without the guys in front of him. And, it was a big boost getting Caleb Pritt eligible last week and getting him on the line. And the guys that have been up there, Curtis Wampler, Jacob Pritt, Tommy Tucker, and Andrew Lamone have been outstanding all year, and adding that last piece has really helped us.
When it came down to Cole, Kenny Antaraz ends up coming in, a big boy. I mean, and it's a bruiser back that you hadn't really seen all year, like a guy like him. Talk about what it meant, that because there in the beginning it seemed like you had some kind of issues on the defensive side to take him down, but then all of a sudden, just like everybody, just taking it down low, doing what they do.
Yeah, and what you've seen is, when you've seen several of our games, is you're starting to see kids run the football. And, this time last year, we probably turned some of that down. That's not happening. We talked to our kids about strength in numbers and the pack and the wolves, and that's the way we approach defense. It ain't just one guy getting there. We need the whole pack getting there. And so they did a tremendous job when he was in there, and they tried to hit him. And so, we've got a challenge coming up this week, same type deal, and so hopefully we'll respond again.
Taiwo Antaros was in there for a while, and then here comes Hooten. So they're running that double quarterback, giving some fits. Two different flavors type of quarterback. But it seemed like your pressure defense was always getting in there, hitting them as they're releasing the ball or forcing them to run.
Right, and we've got great pressure from our defensive line, and our outside backer, Ty Merkel, gets to come a lot because he's the extra guy. And so we have got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, forcing them to get out of their hands, or we're getting the sack. And, we've caused a couple fumbles through this winning streak. And so, it's key at coaching quarterbacks. It's easy to sit back there when there's nobody in your face. When there's people in your face, things start moving a little faster and the ball starts going up for grabs.
You got a big one coming up with Luling. You never know where they're going to be. They've been up, they've been down, but when it comes into the district play, it seems like they're on another level. This time you're on the road. Talk about being on the road in Luling for district game number 2.
So we're going to make a little trip. I think we decided it was about 2 hours and 45 minutes on the bus. And so, we have great respect for Coach Langford and what Luling's about. They're 3-3. They've played the gauntlet of Blanco and Llano already. So I'm sure they're sitting there saying, this is our shot. And we have to rise to that occasion. Extremely athletic with a tremendous amount of speed, and you can combine that with the size that they have. It could create some issues for us. And so, we've been real particular on our game plan this week on how we're going to attack those things. But they got some special players over there.
Coach Langford loves to run the ball. He's a pounder, and he'll throw it out when he has to and spread it out with 2 and 3 on each side. But talk about just on your defensive side, because airing it out, they got a quarterback with an arm right now.
Yeah. So it's kind of a two-headed monster, because the quarterback's so dynamic, not only throwing it, but he's dynamic with his feet, and he can create plays when plays are broke down and things like that. And then he has a tremendous back in the Murphy kid that's right next to him, that's a big bruiser that's got some speed. And so we're definitely going to have our hands full on Friday night, and we know that, and hopefully our kids will rise to the occasion.
Their defense loves to fill in those gaps as quick as possible. Their linebackers and your safeties are really eyeballing the ball, making sure. Talk about just on your offensive side. You're going to keep playing your game plan for sure, but just where it kind of throws their defense off a little bit.
Obviously, that's what Sunday's about. And we have a few new wrinkles in there to try to throw them off course. Our job offensively is to formation people to try to get them in a bind. And, it's like that every week. And, you notice early in the game, you're going to get a bunch of formations from us, different formations. We're checking formations early to see how they're going to line up. And then we kind of get in the groove and we start going. There'll be a few new wrinkles in there this week. And so we're hoping to take advantage of getting them out of alignment and trying to get them out of alignment, because that'd be a big advantage for us. It's going to be tough to block them and sustain blocks with how big and physical they are.
Coach Kesey said before the game started on a pregame that they witnessed where you kicked 6 to 9 onside kicks, as he was calling it.
Right.
It looks like more or less you just hoping to get maybe a lucky bounce and things like that. But at the same time, is that something that you're wanting to stay with and everything for that hope, or just relying on the defense once they get the ball wherever?
we want to put pressure on people in the special teams, and so we'll work kickoff almost every day, all throughout the week, and we have very different styles of onsides we can do. We haven't really displayed them. Some of those that he's saying are just bad kicks, but we do have numerous onsides that we can do. And after, when we score, Coach Marbach always will walk by and say, "You want to onside this?" And I'll tell him yes or no. And it's kind of just a gut feeling, but with our defense the way it is, you're comfortable doing those things if we're in a good spot in the game.
Coach Langford's too deep when it comes to his receivers. I mean, they both have speed and can cut like butter. Defensively, the air attack, what does it take to put that pressure on that quarterback for them and to keep those receivers off the ball?
Right, and that's why we scheduled San Angelo TLCA. They had 2 dynamic receivers on the outside, prep us for it, and then even with Cole, they had a couple receivers out there. So it's basically taking something away, but you're giving something up, and so you hope that throughout the course of the game they can't figure out what you're giving up.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep somebody on top. And our goal is right now defensively is to make people sustain drives. 10, 12, 15 play drives. That's our goal. Don't give up the big play. Keep it in front of you and make them have to sustain drives, and hopefully they'll make a mistake.
How important is it for the fans to get out and take that 2 hour, 45-minute, 3-hour drive?
Right.
Pack the house up.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be crucial. They're going to have a good crowd. And, we went over and scouted them a couple weeks ago. They had a really good crowd. They had people sitting on Blanco's side. Blanco didn't carry a lot of people over there. So, I mean, just for the kids, they're playing hard right now, and they're playing for this community, and just to show us support, make the trip. Go to City Market, have some barbecue, come out to the game.
Yeah.
So we're excited about the challenge, and we just want people on board and going to the game with us.
Coming back now to the very first practice of the year, up to Friday night. There's always something that you see for your team. What is another thing that you have learned about your team from that first day of practice to Friday night?
Trust. They trust each other. They trust us, and we trust them. That's been the biggest growth I've seen. No panic. Nothing ever sets in. If something goes wrong, it's turning into where we're not fixing it. The kids are fixing it, and that's the biggest thing I see is trust.
Superintendent Templeton came to y'all right after the game, and he talked about how Ingram Pride inside is like there's no tomorrow. And there's been some things that happened years ago, but he's now getting phone calls and emails, and he talked to your team about that. I mean, what is that kind of, as a coach and as a team, how does that, just with the emotions and stuff, to hear something like that from Superintendent Templeton?
Yeah, and Dr. Templeton, I mean, a big supporter of ours, and gives us the things we need to be successful, and so I can't thank him enough. But for him to come over and talk to our kids and tell them the good things they're doing, and it means something when it comes from, I mean, obviously it means something from us, but when they hear it from somebody like him, that they know they're making an impact on other people. This is not about football.
That's right.
This is about everybody that's here, and this is about us teaching kids how to be impactful on other people. We talk to our kids all the time about talking to kids in the hallway, talking to kids sitting with other people at lunch. You just never know whenever you're going to make somebody's day. And so, to hear him reassure our kids about the things they're doing was awesome. And, I couldn't thank him enough for doing that.
What is it about the athletic program that's going to the elementary schools and talking with those kids, maybe having reading time and things like
Right.
that?
We've been going to the pep rallies over there with our different sports, but it's like I told y'all a couple weeks ago. Yeah, at the end of the day, my name's at the top, but it's not just me. We have some really good coaches in all our sports here that do a really good job, that get our community involved and get young kids involved. And so it's not just about what I've done, it's about what the people around me have done and helped us get this community to where we're at right now.
All right. Well, Coach, you got with the big one coming up with Luling, and we want to make sure that they pack the house over there. And you talked about that barbecue. That's some good barbecue over there, man, for sure. But it is a little trip, but at the same time, it'd just be great to see all of Ingram over there, shut down and turn out the lights at the end.
Yes, sir. And hopefully we can get this thing done and be back here 2-0, and we're going to have a huge game next week. So homecoming and all the festivities come with homecoming and the state-ranked team coming in. So hopefully we can get this thing done on Friday night and turn next week into a huge week.
All right, well, Coach, thank you so much. And when we come back, we're going to have Coach Chris Morales, the tennis coach, golf coach, and somebody that just doesn't, he doesn't want to keep his date with the, tennis match. We'll figure that out here in just a moment. You're watching the Ingram Warrior YouTube channel. All right, welcome back to the Ingram Warrior YouTube channel here. Now joining me is Chris Morales, and it's not golf. I said golf, but he probably would coach golf if you had to, huh, Coach? No?
Not so sure. No,
you don't know about that 4 or anything like that?
I do.
Yeah.
Used to play, but no.
You had too many slices in your day?
Yes.
Awesome. Cross-country team, and already, once again, getting the hype. You've been, coaching cross-country here in Ingram for quite some time, but talk about like this year's team compared to the years before.
Well, we have an additional coach. Coach Melissa Damasco is my assistant, which she's added a lot to the program. And, for me to stand back and allow someone else to come in and help has done a lot, for confidence with the kids, and relieves me of a lot of pressure to have to maintain so many kids at one time. So, we work together, and also Coach Pedersen at the middle school. So three coaches is the most we've ever had with this program. So that, for one, gives a lot of reassurance for me. And right now, depth is the key. We have a lot of depth on the boys' side, which continues to get stronger. The girls' program, where we've lacked in the past, has stepped up tremendously. So it's a good feeling to wake up and get here at 5 in the morning, 5:30, and those kids are out there every day where others are still sleeping.
Yeah.
These kids are out there performing, and the bonding that I see is another key, with one another. It is a co-ed sport for us, so
yeah.
We have boys and girls together that travel together, and when the boys are running, the girls are cheering, the girls are running, the boys are cheering. So that's a big plus for us, a very big plus, especially when our sport is hard to support.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the fans out there because we run on the weekends or during the school day in the morning, so it's hard for people to get out and support us, so they have to build their own support system. And that's a little bit different than the team sports and what they have.
What is a typical day for a cross-country runner here at Ingram?
Miles, a lot of miles. A lot of early mornings, miles, and
Like, do you do like 5 miles in the morning and 4 miles in the evening?
Well,
or
we don't-
How do you do that?
well, a lot of our-
speed on the track,
we do all of it actually, but it's mainly morning practice because our kids are so involved. Like, we have some football players that run cross country, we have tennis players that run cross country, volleyball players that run cross country. So we have to learn how to share and make it possible for those kids to be successful in multiple areas. So that's a typical day, is working out a schedule.
So if they run on their own in the evenings and stuff like that, that's all good. That's a bonus for you.
It can be a bonus, but you can also overtrain. A lot of our kids run extra when we say it's a easy day where they've run a lot in the morning, and during athletics it's like a lot of stretching. A lot of them choose to run, so you have to just remind them. I know you're eager, but there's a formula here that you want to make sure you follow.
Gotcha.
So,
When you're not doing cross country, all of a sudden now you're out there, smacking the ball with a tennis racket. Talk about your tennis team, because tennis. You got a kid like Frederick Cannon, man. He's a machine right now. I mean, and he's showing his leadership for the other kids as well. Throughout the years. Talk about your tennis team this year, getting up there, being stingray.
well, I will tell you, thank you for your kind words. Frederick is an example. He has always, runs cross country on the highest level, plays tennis on the highest level. He plays on his own in the summer as far as trying to get what they call universal tennis ranking. So, what he does is just a role modeling for other kids. And what he's created for us is that example. So when I spoke about depth in cross country, that's been the key for tennis, the depth year in, year out. And that's the blessing, is that as a coach, you're blessed to have 3 good players, but you're even more blessed when your top 10 can compete on that varsity level in our classification.
Yeah.
You know, we play up in the 4A right now, but a lot of it is gearing up for the spring. So had Dr. Chimpleton not reinstated us in team tennis 2 years ago, we'd probably just be practicing. So that's the whole key. Coach Damasco was talking about Dr. Chimpleton, but he is vital. He's been really vital in the years that we've been here together. And it's been a big difference.
How often is it when a tennis player comes, you know, from junior high and they say, you know, Coach Morales, we want to play tennis and stuff, that you've got to just teach the sport when it comes to teach how to serve or to teach how to backhand? Is that usually the case, or are they pretty much already kind of experienced on their own?
Well, we're living in a different time. Back when I was growing up, I was watching tennis on the square box TV, rolling an antenna to get reception.
Nice.
Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe.
Yep.
These kids now have club tennis. So just like basketball, volleyball, these kids are going to camps to get trained. So what we try to do is allow a kid to attempt to play tennis and then try to help them out in whatever areas. But we're blessed to have kids already knowing what a forehand is, what a backhand is, how to keep score. So it's just a different time. We're getting kids well in advance, you know, in the sport. So that really helps us out a lot.
Has Shriner kind of been a close thing with you? I know that you and I, if you don't know, we went to Shriner together, you know Shriner love right there.
We ran together, yes.
Exactly, cross country, and but has they been kind of helped with you, like watching some of these kids here at Ingram to maybe go to Shriner University to play tennis or run cross country?
Well, they've had a big influence on my life. You know, when I was denied by a couple of colleges after I went to junior college, Shriner was instrumental in changing my life forever. Mm-hmm. And I continue to thank them, Dr. McCormick and Mark Tushak, and what they've done. So I try to get the kids to go and watch them play. Because it's a great university. And for those kids that possibly couldn't afford, they do a lot to make it possible. So I really try to keep myself connected with them. I serve on the alumni board for the Hill Country with Shriner, and it's just about networking and giving back to them when they gave so much to me. And I got to meet you.
That's exactly right. Remember, we went to Houston Baptist, and it was my first ever collegiate. And I think you already had run right the year before, and you were just keeping me calm. And to get 10th place, you know, going like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, you know. But you were a big inspiration on that. How are you seeing that here at Ingram with all those other kids? I mean, you said it's about team and them getting together and kind of being a cheerleaders for each other, but I mean, what about outside? I mean, are they hanging out together and doing those kind of things? Like,
well, I hope they are. And like most of our sports here, you know, as a teacher coach, stand back in the hallways, you watch how they react with one another, and on the buses while we're there watching. But I just feel like the support, I know Coach Damasco brought this up, but I can't give it enough weight that the culture that we're trying to create here has definitely, in my 17 years here, I've seen a lot of ADs and principals and teachers, but the one thing that I think has remained constant is, for me, is I want to do this. You know, I want to be here, and I have a great support staff. I have 3 tennis coaches, myself, Coach Bonham, Coach Fairchild, and then I have Coach Damasco, Melissa, and Cynthia Pedersen. So I think my bosses, Coach Damasco, Mr. Critt, Dr. Templeton, school board, they recognize what it's going to take to make a program more successful. I've been very blessed to have success, and at some point, you know, moving forward, now we're moving to Region 1. And that's a big thing, because Region 1, you have most of your state champions that come out of there. So it's going to be a real test for us.
Doggone West Texans, man.
But the thing is, we have this season now to get ready for it, and it's a big plus for us.
You know, in a lot of schools, tennis, cross country is kind of looked over when it comes to that. And, you know, you've kind of been up and down on that from, like you said, from years and years. But right now, it's like top notch. I mean, you could ask for things and get the help like you do, and you're not doing it all on your own.
No, I'm not. I think the one thing that we strive for is a district team championship. You know, we are an individual sport, But my goal, knowing that, you know, we have football, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, the team sports at times can overshadow, but I think that if you get the right leadership in place, like I know we do, Booster Club supports us fully. You know, Coach Damasco, Mr. Crit, Dr. Templeton, I can go on several names, but I think that's our goal. You can have individual success, which I've been blessed with, we have, but the more the merrier. That little cliche phrase is exactly. Traveling with the team to Lubbock versus 2 kids to Lubbock is a lot more happy.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And if you can get that many kids going, I think it's just better for the whole program. So,
You know, you played and was coached by some amazing coaches. Did you ever call them up and rely on them, or maybe to get some words of encouragement and things like that, or did they come and see you at some of these meets?
well, as a matter of fact, my junior college coach is in a big motorcycle club. So he comes from Alvin, Texas. He lives in Friendswood, Coach Brown, and he coached me at Alvin Community College. Well, he comes to watch us in Uvalde. He has an annual trip that happens to be on the same weekend that we
Nice.
play. So it's kind of interesting. My high school coach passed away, so she got to watch some of the kids play as well. But it is fun. It's you know, it takes me back, and I remember, you know, I remember high school. I remember playing. I remember Shriner. I remember running for Coach Dr. Wells. So you know, you don't forget, and it's really, it helps me, keeps me a little bit younger, a little bit younger.
There you go.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a tad right there. Well, one more question, and I had to bring it up and everything. So, what's this? I understand that you had a tennis date with Coach Damasco, and all of a sudden it's like, you didn't take it. What's going on there?
Okay, and I'm going to tell you the truth.
No
okay?
excuses.
The truth. So, Coach Damasco, it's a rare occasion that an athletic director, although in the past some have come out for a little bit to play with the kids, so he comes out there and he's trying to change the culture of tennis as far as how people cheer.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I probably wasn't the most receptive when Coach Brack and I think Coach Lara drove up in a golf cart. And I don't think I'd shoot him away, but we're playing a match. Well, Coach Damasco comes up and he's talking to the kids, and he challenges me. Well, he challenges me, but talking to them that he can. I'm not sure if he's where he can beat me or compete with me, but so I said sure. We set up a date. It was scheduled for May 12th, 5:00 p.m. And I will tell you that I waited there, and he probably had a really good reason not to show up. I don't think it's because he was afraid to play me. I think he got busy being the AD.
Oh, so it's the other way around. He didn't show up.
No, I was there.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
I was there. I was there in full regalia.
But did you have a state dinner written on that or something like that?
No, it's just,
to
you
play.
just play for, just a man versus man. That's just all you do.
There you go.
I mean, I would never challenge him on the football field or baseball field, but,
I don't know. You might be able to hit him.
oh, I'm sure I could serve and hit him. I'm sure I could.
Well, Chris, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
It's always good to
Appreciate
see you.
you.
Yeah, I mean, we
That's
got some
fun.
Shriner Day, tales and stuff like that with the Haglin twins.
Oh, yes.
They were runners
Volleyball.
and volleyball and basketball. It was crazy stuff, man. But yeah, all right. Well, that's going to do it right here for the Ingram Warrior YouTube channel. Until next week, let's go IPI Inside.